Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Wangari Kuria and we are back on Farm on Fire.
Agriculture is the key to Kenya's economy and it is therefore a great field to explore. Did you know that you can successfully balance your career and agribusiness? Join me, the Farmer on Fire, as I walk with you through the journey to find out how. Get informed, educated, entertained as we make agribusiness attractive. The Farmer on Fire, setting farmers ablaze.
Today we are discussing women in agriculture. Women have had the role of providing food on the table. They say the man brings the bacon, but ultimately it is the woman who fries the bacon, knows what to add, what to use to cook, and all other responsibilities around providing the food to the table. However, despite having this, a lot of women are not featured in discussions around food and food systems. Today we are discussing how women play a critical role, yet they are not having a seat at the table. It is the woman who decides during harsh times we are going to eat this kind of maize flour. Even though my family loves this or meat perhaps, we are going to start having kamande for our mealtime and our protein supplement. So you can see how it's critical for a woman to be in the forefront as a major stakeholder, because at the family unit she is mostly the one making the decisions on what is to be eaten, how money is to be invested in terms of food in the family as well. They know the supplies they have, what is in their pantry, what is being cooked and how it's being cooked. Even as we discuss this conversation of reducing the carbon emissions from firewood and cutting down of trees to provide cooking firewood, it is an important conversation to try and include as many women as possible. When discussing how we should have alternative sources of fuel and trying to limit cutting down of trees for firewood to cook for the household, we need to put a woman in that, because until the solutions are practical to her, until she is able to give what are the alternative sources of fuel for cooking in her household, we'll continue having this conversation in boardrooms with men who are not actively in that role of cooking. Women are also the ones carrying the agricultural industries. We have seen, especially in third world countries as Africa and parts of Asia and other parts of the world, when it comes to the most vulnerable people in the agricultural sector are mostly women. Most of them don't even get an income in doing agricultural activities. It is considered that they're supporting the household by providing their labor for free, and yet if it's that account, let's say the tea picking account or the coffee account at the cooperative, it is in the husband's name. So the woman will clock in every day, pluck the tea, take it to the factory, and the husband will get that money at the end of the month. At the end of the year, he will also get his bonus. And in the situation of mine, my mom used to do everything from plowing the land to seeding the crop, managing the workers in the farm, weeding, fertilizer, all those headaches were on her shoulders. Yet when the harvest came, my dad just came with a pickup to collect the harvest and go and sell, and the money eventually would end up in his pocket. We never saw money changing hands with my mother because she did all the work, yet the money didn't go to her pocket. So this has been the example of women. We have seen a few women taking charge, doing table banking, helping to build each other up, but that is significantly on the lower side. Recently, we saw a journalist going undercover to experience what other women experience in that factory. It was a scenario where a man was taking advantage of the casual laborers who come to do tea picking in that factory. and in exchange he would need sexual favors for them to be employed. Think about these women. Most of them are single mothers. Most of them are so desperate that it is a choice that is very hard to make. They even state that some of them were also married. It is a point where we had to start advocating, because this company have those rules and are aware that women should not be taken advantage of and should be included in the hiring process. Yet enforcement becomes a challenge. How do we reinforce and make sure that these companies are compliant? For me, with the women I work with at Ladies Who Farm, we try to advocate for better practices, including women laborers. We have seen, especially at end month, most men of farm workers in our farms have to go and celebrate, have to go and say, I am giving, kupea mwili pole. Compared to their male counterparts, women in the agricultural sector who are low-level, low-income laborers cannot afford the luxury of going to pea mwili pole to themselves. They have to prioritize their children, their husbands, their in-laws, their churches, and society at large before they think of their own needs. We are here to say that women are as important, if not more. Women have been seen to be diligent, keen, and pay attention and care about other people's investments and want to nurture it and bring that to fruition and success. So for me, it's to ask you, are you intentionally employing women in your organization? Are you conscious of your hiring practices and habits? Do these women hold positions of power and decision-making roles? It's something all of us need to ask and be intentional on inclusivity. I'm not saying we all have a female-only labor force, but we need to have at least 30% of laborers in our farms being women and increasing that number with time, because indeed there are more benefits of having an inclusive world. Now that I live in Kajiado, Kitengela, this has become my home and will always be. But sadly, I look around and there are very many people struggling with the effects of climate change. There has been drought looming and cows are falling every day to their death because of lack of fodder. For me, it's to even think about the most vulnerable in that community, who are the single mothers who don't have anywhere to turn to. For us, we adopt them into the organization and train them and intern them for 3 months with the hope that they are getting an income to feed their children and their households, and to learn a skill or two for them to be sustainable in the future. I would like you to join me in this cause by joining the group Ladies Who Farm, and I will leave the link down below for you to join and help us in this cause of pushing and having a better voice for women in agriculture. Thank you for joining us today. That's all we had for today, but we surely have many more topics around this conversation of agriculture in the future. Make sure you join us next time. For now, it is goodbye.
The Farmer on Fire, setting farmers ablaze.